Hello people, my name is Ferdy and in this tutorial I will cover everything I know about the Blocksy theme. The Blocksy theme is my favorite WordPress theme. It is free and in this tutorial I will show you everything I know about this amazing theme. Let me show you what we will cover in this tutorial. First we'll take a look at the header. You can create a header like this with your logo, a menu, a search icon, and it's really easy to change the header. Just drag the element that you want to use to the area where you want to place it. Just like that. Do you want to drag the menu to the center? That's how easy it is. Or maybe you prefer a call to action button that stands out from all other menu items on your header. You can also create a top row and a bottom row and add elements to it. And using the Blocksy theme, it's also very easy to adjust the style of the menu and the submenu. We can make our header sticky, so when we scroll down, it sticks with us. We can also make our header transparent and change the logo and colors when we scroll. All that within the free version of the Blocksy theme. So with the free version of the Blocksy theme, you can create headers like this, or like this, or like this. And of course, we'll optimize our header for all devices. Then we will create a footer using the same drag and drop system that we used in the header. And also our footer will be optimized for all devices. We will even use custom CSS to style our footer a bit further, and normally that's only possible within the pro version of a theme, but it is included in the free version of the Blocksy theme. We'll take a look at the style of our blog page, configure the title and change how the blog posts are displayed. We'll also adjust the individual blog post page and decide what information should be displayed at the top of the blog post and at the bottom of the blog post. On any page in our website, we can make use of a sidebar with sidebar widgets. Those widgets can be displayed like this, or you can make the sticky. You can make all widgets sticky or only the latest one or the latest two. And we can also adjust the look and feel of the sidebar. We'll talk about global colors, which makes it really easy for you to change all the colors in your website with a few clicks. And we'll talk about using the right fonts for your website. You will also learn how to configure your WooCommerce pages that enable you to sell products on your website. You can adjust the style of the product archive page, the individual product pages, and we can add WooCommerce related items in the header of our website. When you're happy with all your configurations of the Blocksy theme, you can export those settings and import them on another website so you can save yourself a lot of time. I will also show you how to import a pre-made website from Blocksy so you can save yourself a lot of time and have a website that's lightweight and optimized for all devices. And in the end of the tutorial, I will show you what is possible using the Pro version of the Blocksy theme and refer you to the Blocksy Pro tutorial. In this tutorial, we'll only cover all the free features of this amazing theme. In the description of this video, I have timestamps. So if you want to go to a certain part in the tutorial, you can click on one of those timestamps and you go directly to that part of the tutorial. When I go to fast for you, you can go to the settings here at YouTube, playback speed, and slow down the speed of this tutorial. And if you want to go back a few seconds in the video, just hit the left arrow on your keyboard and you'll go back 5 seconds in the video. I hope you like that introduction. It takes me a lot of time to create those introductions, but I do like the process of creating this. If you like the video, please like it. And now let's get started with the Blocksy theme tutorial. And the first thing we're gonna do, don't be surprised, we're gonna get the free Blocksy theme. Let me show you how. So right now I have a new WordPress installation with the 2024 theme from WordPress, and I want to show you from scratch how to work with the Blocksy theme. I assume you already have your own website. If you don't have that, you can go to ferdy.com/web hosting, hit enter, and you'll be redirected to a video that will show you step by step how to get your own web hosting and a free domain so you can follow along in this tutorial. So the first thing we will do is get the Blocksy theme. In order to do that, we go to ferdycorp.com/Blocksy, hit enter, and we will be redirected to the Blocksy theme page. We can go for the Pro version or we can go for the free version. I go for the free version, so I click over here and I go to wordpress.org and I can download it over here. There you go. Then I can go to the backend of our website. I can go to Appearance, Themes, add a new theme, upload theme, and I can drag it over here and click on Install Now. Or we go to Themes, add a new theme, and I can search for the Blocksy theme. I click on Install, and then I activate the theme. When you install the Blocksy theme, you also need to have a plugin. It's called the Blocksy Companion plugin. So you click over here to install it. Now it's active, and now I can go to Appearance, Themes, and I can remove all the themes I don't use. So I hover over here. Here I see it's the active theme. I click on Theme Details, delete. Okay, so we only have one theme, and that is active. Why? If you use other themes which are not active, viruses can be added, and it happens all the time. No, just kidding. It almost happens never. I heard one person say it once that it happens. So I try to keep things organized. So I prefer to only have one theme active and no other themes that are inactive. If I take a look at the website, it looks like this. We're gonna make it look so much better. In order to show you what is possible with the free Blocksy theme, we need to have some content on our website. And it can be that you're following this tutorial from scratch. So in order to help you, I created some dummy data for you that you can import in your website, so you can see how things will look when you have some content on your website. So let me show you how you can get those free resources. And in order to help you, I will give you a few blog posts so you can see how they will be displayed on your website. And I will give you a logo and a favicon if you don't have one for yourself, so you can follow along in the tutorial. So what I will do, I will go to 30corp.com/am stuff. It's the first one. There goes the downloads. I can open it. Now I go to the backend by clicking here. Then I go to Tools, Import, Install Now at WordPress. Then I want to run the importer. Over here, I can choose the file I want to import, an XML file with a few blog posts. So I go to my downloads, AM stuff folder. I go for 5 dummy blog posts, open them, upload, and then I select my username, submit. Now I go to media, add new media file, select files, and I go for blog post 1, hold shift until 5, open. There they go. Great. Then I go to the posts. There are 5 blog posts. I go to the first one. Okay. I go back to all posts and I hold Command or Control on the PC. And I click on 1, blog post 2, 3, 4, 5. Then I go to the first one or Control Tab. I click on Set Featured Image, Control Tab. So I go to the second one, click, third one, click, fourth one, click, fifth one, click. This is how I work faster. So Command or Control Tab, Tab, Tab. Okay, here I select 1, Control Tab 2, 3, 4, 5. Then I go to the first one again, click, 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 and then again to blog post 1, update, 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 update. So now I've added featured images to all the blog posts I have. So I can close this, Command W. Now if I go to the website, I see 5 blog posts with 5 images. So with this content, I can show you how you can make it look better. If I have no content, I cannot show that. So that's why I did that. Then we can go to 30corp.com/images. There goes another file. I open it or unzip it. There it goes. Then I go to the customizer. I want to click on the 3 dots over here. Select a logo, upload files, select files. And in my case, I go to downloads, images tutorial, web design, branding, and I go for the logo.svg, which is this one. Open it, just 12 kilobytes. That's what I like about SVGs. Select. Then I turn off the site title. And now one more thing, I want to add a favicon over here. Right now we see the WordPress logo, so I go back and back. I scroll down all the way, and then here at site identity, I can upload a site icon by selecting this button, upload files, select files, and then I go for the favicon. Open, select, crop the image, publish. Now I close this. So now we have a site icon and we have a logo we can work with. Of course, we're gonna make it look so much better. What I want to do right now, before we really get started, actually we're already started, but what I want to do right now, I want to upload a logo and create a menu so we have something to work with. Let me show you how we can do that. One more thing before we really get started configuring this beautiful theme. We want to create a menu. So I go to the customizer again. I scroll down. I go to menus, create a menu. And I call this one the main menu. I link it to the header menu 1, which is this area. I click on next. So now this is empty. So everything I add over here will be shown over here. So I click on add items. I can add a few pages. Of course, I need the home page. I want to have an about page. Of course, I want to have a services page. What do I offer? What kind of services? And then I want to showcase the services. So first one, I talk about branding in my company. I offer the service web design, SEO, search engine optimization, so you'll be found better. And the latest one, I also do ads, advertising. But now I see them all next to each other. I don't want that. So I drag this a little bit to the right, so it will be below services. So it will be a submenu like that. Then I add a new page. Of course, I want to talk about blog posts. So I want to have a blog page. I want to have a portfolio page so I can showcase my work. So I can also say our work or cases, whatever you prefer. I prefer cases. Why? Because I had a date once with Casey. It was such a nice date, even though she dumped me. That's why I like cases. Yeah. And the contact page, because there was a girl whose name was Contactasia. She was so nice. That's why I prefer the contact page. Yeah, makes sense, don't you think? I click on publish. Now it looks like this. Let me close this. Okay. Now I want to do a few more things. I want to go back to the customizer. I want to select the homepage over here instead of showing the latest post. So I scroll down, I go to the core homepage settings. I want to show on the homepage our static homepage. So I select the page called home, which we have just created. For the post page, I want to have the blog page. So I go for blog, publish, close. Okay. Now, if I go to the blog page, you see the blog post. If I go to the homepage by clicking here, then I go to the homepage. I don't need to have this in the menu. If I go to apple.com, there's no homepage. So if I go to the watch page, I want to go back to the homepage, I need to click here. So no homepage for me. I go to the customizer, scroll down all the way. I go to menus, main menu, and I say home. I don't need you. I only need to have my own home. I need that. I need to have a roof over my head for me and my family. So one more thing before we really get started. One of the things I really like about the Blocksy theme is the transparent header. This is a feature that costs money or is premium with a lot of other themes. In the Blocksy theme, it's free. So let me show you how you can get a transparent header. In order to showcase that in the best way, I need to have a dark background over here, and I want to use Elementor to do that. If you already have content over here, then you don't need to follow along. If you want to follow along, I go to ferdycorp.com/Elementor. Hit enter. I use a free page builder called Elementor. I don't need to have the pro version. So I want to get the free version, but they seem to hide it somewhere. So you know what? I go to the backend, plugins, add new. Then I search for Elementor. I click on install now. More than 5 million installations. I think it already has 12 million installations, but there's a cap over here with 5 million. It doesn't show more. Activate. And I close this. I don't need to set it up. I go to screen options. Don't show that. Okay. Now I go to the website, edit the homepage, edit with Elementor, close this. Now I need to go for the new layout. So let me click over here and exit to the dashboard, apply. Now I go to Elementor, settings, features. and I need to search for the top bar. I turn it on, save the changes. I go back to the home page, edit it with Elementor. Now I go to the page settings, scroll down, and also have the page layout, full width, so no title. Okay, great. Click on got it over here. Then I click on the plus over here. I go to the style, background type, classic. I choose a color, dark color. Let's do that one, or with a color maybe. Then I go back to layout, and the height, I say 2000. Publish. I click on the eye. Okay, exactly what I need. Now I can show you how to configure the Blocksy theme. There are a lot of things we can configure in the Blocksy theme. So let's get started with a few configurations that we can configure during the configuration process while we are configuring the Blocksy theme using the configuring method. Let me show you. So first let's go to the backend. If I go to Blocksy, here at the homepage, there are a few shortcuts. So if I want to adjust the colors, I can click on the customizer. If I click on it, I go to the customizer. We'll go to the customizer later. So I will show you all these features. Here at the right, you can join the Facebook community if you want to, for all the Blocksy users. You can watch video tutorials. You can go to the knowledge page, view the documentation, and if you have any question, you can submit a ticket at the support. Then we have the starter sites. They're continuously working to expand this for the free version and the pro version. And if you hover over it, you can work with the WordPress editor, also known as Gutenberg, or with Elementor. And there are even some others. As far as I know, in some cases they work with other page builders, but I don't see them right now. Yes, here, Brizy. So that's also an option. So you can have the same website with Elementor, the page builder, or with the WordPress editor. We'll talk about starter sites later. There are extensions both for the free version, which is really handy. This one, the cookie consent, newsletter subscribe, product reviews, and trending posts. And then for the pro version, there are a few others, which we will talk about later. Then there are useful plugins, external plugins that you can use. And then there's the change log for new things, fixes, and improvements. So you can watch it over here. This is a week ago, so they're continuously working to make this tool better. Another great feature within the Blocksy theme are global colors. Even if you use a page builder like Elementor, you can still use the global colors from the Blocksy theme. So what I want to do, I want to go to the website by clicking here, and I want to go to the customizer. And this is where we will adjust a lot of things in the Blocksy theme. What I like in comparison with all the other themes I know is that this has a different layout. In my opinion, it looks way better. With other themes, it looks like this, but I prefer this. And what we can do, if you want to do that, you can turn it to a dark version. So that's up to you. I like the light version, so I'll stick with that. And when you want to adjust something, you can go to the settings, or you can just hover over an area and click on it, and then you go directly to that spot. So if I want to adjust the logo, you can just click here and you can do that. I will go back and I will go back. So let's take a look over here. There are general options like the width of the website, the colors of the buttons. We can adjust the header. This area we can adjust or create the footer. There's a sidebar on certain pages. We can talk about colors, typography, the performance, blog posts. If you have installed WooCommerce, which we'll talk about later, then you have settings for that. We can adjust the look and feel of the pages, author page, the search page, and these settings are all related to WordPress and not to the Blocksy theme. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to dive a bit deeper into the header or the heading configuration. And we're going to just talk about everything that's possible and what you can do. So, come on. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to dive a bit deeper into the heading configurations right now. So we'll walk through them. And the first thing I want to do, I want to talk about the header. And what I love about this theme is that in the free version, it has so many features, which normally are in the pro version of other themes. But the makers of the Blocksy theme decided to make it free in this theme. And that's what I like about this theme. So in order to adjust this area, I can go to the header and then we see this area over here. This area has 3 rows on top of each other. The top row, the main row, and the bottom row. But also from left to right, we have a left area. If I drag this, you see a middle area and a right area. So there are 9 areas, and here are a lot of elements we can add to those 9 areas. So if I want to add a button over here, for instance, there appears a new row here at the left. If I want to have socials here at the top row, it looks like that. So we have the top row over here, the main row, and maybe I want to have a second menu, drag it over here. And then we have a third row. So that gives us a lot of possibilities, and every row has their own settings. So if I hover over the main row and I click over here, I can go to the settings, I can go to design, and I can change the background to something else. See? So I can change it over here, or I can paste a color if I have one. And then I need to have the hashtag like that. And if I want to undo it, as soon as I change something, I will see this dot over here. That means that I adjusted something. So if I change this to something else, there's a new area over here. I can get rid of it, and also over here. We'll talk about colors later, but it shows you what is possible. And not only when it comes to colors, right now I'm here at design. I can also go to general. What I want to do, I want to change the row height, for instance, decrease it. And it's all really intuitive and easy to change things. You can also make it sticky, but we'll talk about it in a second. So if I want to get rid of the top bar, I need to get rid of all the elements in it. So the button in this case, socials, and then the top bar will disappear. Same goes with the menu. So let's start with this. Of course, we want to have a logo. It's the best to have that at the left because that's the case in almost any website, every website. Then I want to have a menu. I can have it in the center or at the right. It's up to you. And then if you want to, you can have a search icon. You can have a button, drag it next to it. You can have anything, socials, change the order, and then you can adjust things. Well, I only want to have a button. So I get rid of this and I get rid of this. And then I go to the button. I can say contact, and I can link it to the /contact page. Now I can go back, and I can go back, scroll down all the way, go to menus, main menu, get rid of the contact page, publish, go back. Now I can also hover here, go to the main row, so I can have a shortcut over here. And I say, you know what? Drag this to the right. So it looks like that. About, sources, block, cases, contact. Publish. What I want to show you is what you can do with the global colors when you have a page builder, for instance, Elementor. So I have another website. You can create the same website using my WordPress tutorial. You can follow that on the internet by clicking there or search for WordPress tutorial 30 on YouTube. And there I will show you the power of global colors. Before we continue, let's talk about the colors in our website. Really important. We can work with colors and with a color palette, a global color palette. That means right now I see this blue color, which is linked to those colors. So if I click on the color palette and I change it to something else, this becomes green. And all the colors that are linked to those global colors will change. To illustrate it, over here I use the Blocksy theme and the Elementor page builder, and all those colors in this website are linked to the global colors. So if I would click over here and I change this to orange, it changes everywhere in the website. If I change the second color to blue, well, it seems it's not changing everywhere. Maybe it's lagging a bit. If I close this, there you go. So now with a few clicks, the look and feel of our website changed. And that's the power of global colors. So that's why I prefer to use the global color palette. Let me bring it back to the original one. So which colors do you want to use? If you want to find out which colors you want to use for your brand, you can go to YouTube and search for branding colors 30. Find the right colors for your website, a small tutorial which will show you how to find the right colors. I will use this color as the main color. Then the second one, bluish, like that. Color 3, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. And for me, that's okay now. Maybe this one a bit warmer. Yes, I'm happy with that. Okay, so now I can use those colors everywhere in the website. Right now, I want to style the menu of our header further. Now I can go back to the main row and continue with the header. So let's talk about the menu. I click over here. Now I want to configure this. First, I want to select the main menu. Then I can showcase this in a few different ways. First one, type 1, type 2. When I hover over it, you see those lines below. The third one looks nice. And the fourth one, an animation. I like to keep the simple one, type 1, like that. If I go to design, I can change the font. Let's talk about it later. I can make the font bigger. I can make it less bold, medium, or even regular. I can get rid of the capitals by clicking here. Play around with the letter spacing. So I want to make it bigger. 16. That's okay. I don't want to use capitals. And then I go to the button. I want to make it the same. So I can go to design. Click over here. Make it 16. And then here, 400. Then I go to the button. I want to increase. Let's see. The roundings. How can I do that? Then I go to the border radius. Let's say 25. Beautiful. Publish. Using the Blocksy theme, you can apply custom CSS. CSS is a certain code that can help you to style the website. Normally WordPress and the Blocksy theme and the page builders are doing that for us. But with custom CSS, we can tweak a few things that are sometimes not available in the configuration option. So let me show you how you can do that. And custom CSS is oftentimes a premium feature in the theme. With the Blocksy theme, it is free. Yes. So let me show you how you can work with custom CSS. Not every free theme has custom CSS, but the Blocksy theme has. What I want to do, I want to have no capitals at all. I can do that two ways. I can click over here. Sorry. I can go to the menus, click over here, go to about, and then change the navigation label to about without a capital, like that, or like this. But I go back to additional CSS, right mouse click. How can I get rid of that? Right mouse click, I use Google Chrome for this, inspect. And here at the right, I search for this area. Copy this. If you can't follow along or you're confused, just type what I type over here, comma. Then dot sub dash item dot ct menu dash link, opening parentheses. So I should say dot. So what I'm saying over here in the menu list and the submenu list, there should be a certain style. And that style should be text transform. If I say uppercase, everything here in the submenu should be uppercase. It's not the case because I made an error. So let's make this lowercase. Oh, I see. Not sub item, but sub menu. Yes, now small capitals. So just just type this if you want to, and then you get the same results. But that's what I like about the Blocksy theme, that you can have free custom CSS. Normally that's only with the pro version of themes, but with the Blocksy theme, it's included in the free version. But now this is still a capital. So I go to the customizer again, and I just go to the button and then decide to go with lowercase. When you make use of a WordPress theme and a page builder, it's important to have the same width of your website. So let me show you how you can configure the site width for your theme and for your page builder. I'm about to continue with the header, but before we do that, I want to talk about the width of the header and of the website. Right now, it's too wide in my opinion. So in order to adjust it, we go to the customizer, general, layout, and here we can adjust the width. Well, I prefer 1120. I think that's the best width for your website. Why? Because if you use 2 or 3 or 4 or even 5 columns in your website, with 1120, it will be displayed the best way with all those amount of columns. So I say 1120, and that makes it a little bit more narrow. But if you use a page builder, in my case Elementor, you also need to adjust the size over there. So I go to the site settings, layout, and I need to say 1120. Save the changes. Great. Exit. And now I can go to the customizer and we can work on our header. We are going back to the menu, and this time I want to take a look at the submenu, how we can style that. Then I want to take a look at the submenu. Right now it looks like this. I want to fix that or make it look different. How can I do that? I click on the 3 dots. I scroll down a bit and then I see the drop down options. When I hover over it, it appears. I can also say when I click on it, then it should appear. I prefer hover. And if I hover over it, I get a blue text. I prefer to change the colors and I prefer to change the background when I hover over it. In order to do that, I need to go to the items hover effect and I choose solid color. When I do that, you see that the whole background changes a bit. I can also say box color. It will look like that. I prefer solid color. Then I go to design. I want the background to be light. So let's say color 8. And when I hover over it, then it can be blue. Well, it seems that I need to publish it, close it, and then go back to the customizer. Go back to the drop down options and then design. And then the font color, of course, right now is white, so I see nothing. It should be color 3. And when I hover over it, it can be white. And then it looks like this. And that's what I prefer. I don't need to have a divider. So I can say none. Drop down shadow. You can adjust it here. And the border radius, if you want to. You see in the corners at the bottom, I could say 25. But I think, no, that's not what I want. So I'm okay with 0. Publish. Great. I go back to the customizer. Right now we have a logo and a nice menu, and we can also have a top bar on top of our main header. We can have another layer, another area. Let me show you how we can configure that. I adjusted this color to blue, so it maintains the style of our website, just like the background of the submenu. What I want to do now, I want to take a look at the header. Right now we have a logo here at the left and a menu and a button at the right. I can adjust it. I can do so much more. Let me show you what is possible with the Blocksy header. I click on customize and then I can click on the header area. So right now I see the logo here and the menu and the button here. This over here is a representation of what is happening here. So if I drag this menu to the center, look at this. It's now in the center. I can bring the logo to the center. So I can play around with that, but I can do more. Over here we have elements. So I can have an HTML area on the top because there's not just left, center and right. There's also top, main and bottom. So when I release this, I see a new area over here. So I can click on it and I can say, call us at make it a link. Then it looks like that. I don't like it. So what I can do, I can change the style, the design of the HTML element. I can also go to the top row and change the style. Over there, I can change the minimum height, increase it or decrease it. I can make it boxed, full width. So if I make the screen smaller, it's completely at the left. And everything I place over here will be completely at the right. Let's say boxed or default. I go to design and I want to change the background to this blue one. But now this text is, I don't know, I prefer it to be dark. In order to do that, I can go to the HTML element, design, font color, make it white. I can even make the link white if I want to. And when people hover over it, I can make it orange like that. I can go back and then there is also the search area. Maybe I want to have that at the right of the button. And if I want to, I can show social media icons. They are black. So if I click on them, I can go to design, change the color to white. And when I hover over it, orange. I think this takes a bit too much space. So I can click on the top row, decrease it until I think that's better. I can do the same with the main row. I can increase it, decrease it. I think 70 is great. Here at design, we can also do things. I can change the background color, for instance, but I'm okay with it. I can also use a gradient, as you see, or an image. Never done that, but hey, it's possible. I go back to color. I want to have no color. So I click over here to get rid of the adjustment I made. I think the text is quite big over here. So I can click, go to design, make this 14. I can go back, and what is also possible, I can have an area in the bottom row or in the center, to the right, and then I can adjust it over here. I don't want it, but I just want to show that's possible. And if I make the screen smaller, command minus, 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 or control minus, I can go to the main row. As I said before, with the top row, you can do also at the main row, make it full width, make it boxed, so it's a bit smaller, or default. Well, I like default, so I will stick with default. Command 0, control 0, so I have the normal resolution again, and I bring menu 1 back to the right, and I get rid of the search icon. Publish. I think it looks really nice, and I'm really happy with what we can accomplish over here using the Blocksy theme, but let me show you how we can configure it in a way that it also will look amazing on different devices like a tablet or a smartphone. Over here, I see the tablet and mobile header. So if I click over here, it looks like that. I can adjust it too. So I can do the same things. I can make sure that the HTML is here at the top. Again, I have 9 areas and that the socials are over there. The trigger, I can give it a certain color, but I'm okay with it. If I open it, I see random pages. How can I fix that? I can go to the mobile menu over here. Select the menu, main menu, like that. I prefer to have everything opened automatically. How can I do that? I can go back, or I can go to the mobile menu again. And then over here, interactive collapse, no. So by default, they're open. I cannot do anything over here. So then I go to the design because I don't like the style over here. Default, make sure it's Nunito Sans. Continue. I don't want it to be bold, so I say medium. I can decrease this a bit, and then I can go back. Make sure there is the button below, so people can reach out to us. Then I go to the off canvas area, design, I want to make use of could say this one. I prefer to use the dark one, but it should not be as wide as this. So I go back to general, the viewport, I say 40. And then on a mobile, that's not what I want. So for a mobile, I'll make it 80. Perfect. Perfect. I can also say alignment should be somewhere else, but it's all fine as it is. Let me hide this. I can bring it to the center, to the right. When you hover over it, it looks like that. I think that is great. So we have adjusted our header for all devices. Let me see. Great. We already talked about the transparent header, but the header can also be sticky. It can stick with you, and we can stick multiple parts. And I'm going to show you right now how we can do that using the Blocksy theme. We can also make our header sticky. We can make the whole header sticky. So when we scroll down, it sticks with us. We can also make a part sticky. So let me show you how to configure that. I go to the customizer, header, and then I go to the second tab, headers. I go for the global header, and then there is the sticky functionality. I turn it on. Now when I scroll down, it sticks with us. Let me hide the builder. So I see over here that I'm scrolling. It sticks with us. I can also say that both the main and the top row should stick with us. So I can go to the top and the main row, and I scroll. But what happens, it sticks, but the color changes. And that's what you can do. When you scroll, you can have two separate styles. One for the static one, for when it's on top of the website, and one for if you're scrolling. So I can click on the top row, design, and then it says the default state is this background. But for the sticky state, it is a different color. So let me say this one. Now if I scroll down, it becomes that color. Or that one. Or default state, you can make it transparent. We'll talk about it in a minute. So if I want to go back, I go back, global header. I can also say I only want to make the top row stick. So only that one sticks with us when we scroll. I prefer the main row, only that one. And then there's effect. Right now it sticks with us without an animation. I can also say slide down. So when I scroll down, it appears like that. Or fade. There you go. Or this one is really interesting. When you scroll down, it does not stick with you, but as soon as you scroll up, it appears. That is actually my favorite way of displaying things, because when you scroll down, oftentimes you are searching for content on the website, on the page, not in the header. But when you scroll up, it can be that you want to go and navigate to a different page. So that's my favorite one. So I will turn that on. But for now, I will leave it at default. I can also have an offset. So let's say this is 30 pixels. I can make this 30. And when I scroll down, it keeps that 30. And in order to showcase this better, I go to Elementor. Go to the section, style. I make this a dark color. Then I go to background overlay. Click over here. I want to use an image, upload files. I want to use one of the images I use in my tutorials. So I go to business. And I use this image. Then over here, I can say display size, cover, and then position, center, center. And opacity, let's make it a bit dark. Publish. Okay, so now I can see when I'm moving. So if I scroll down, you can see the hair through the top header, because we use an offset of a certain amount of percentage or pixels. So I go to the customizer, header, headers, global header, offset 30 pixels. So now you can see through it. So that's the first thing about a sticky header. If I go back and back, and I go to global headers, if I scroll down, there's the transparent functionality. So I can turn that on. Look at this. Now it becomes really interesting because now the header is transparent and I can see through it. So I see this line from the image. So if I click over here and I go to design, I see 3 backgrounds. One, the default state. The other one is the transparent state, this one. So I can say over here, it can be white and visible, but I also can say it should be blue, but then you can see through it. Well, let's say black and that people can see through it. But now my logo is not that visible. So I can go to my logo, but since we turned on the transparent header, I have a new option over here, the transparent state logo. So now I can choose upload files and I go to web design, branding. I could go for the logo white. Select. Now it is white. And when I scroll down, it still is white. So now I need to go to the sticky state logo and select the dark one. So now it looks like this. And when I scroll down, I have a light background and a dark logo. How about the text? I don't see the text or the navigation. So I click over here. I go to design and I say for the transparent state, I want to have color 8, which is white. When people hover over it, it can be blue. For the sticky state, it's fine as it is. So let me publish it, close it, scroll down, and it changes to the right logo. I can see everything. When I scroll up, I see the transparent state. I can see through the menu. I have a light logo. This is visible. I decided that only the main menu will appear. So that's how you can configure all this. We can make use of a transparent header and we can make use of a sticky header that changes the logo and the style and the colors when we scroll. I think that's pretty awesome for a free theme. The great thing about this is when you use a logo with a semi-transparent header, so it has a dark semi-transparent background, that even when you have a light background, so I go to Elementor, to the container, style, and I get rid of this color. So it's white. And let's say this one is fully visible. So that's a light background, but I can still see the white or the light text because it is semi-transparent. Only here, that's a problem. So then I should make that a certain color. So let's do that. So if I have a white or a light background, and I still want to see this, then I would go to the customizer. I would go to the top row and say design for the transparent state, still blue. And for the main row design, I would say make it a bit darker. Or in the color of your brand. And on top row or design, make it transparent again. And then you can click over here. Design for the sticky or the transparent states, make the text dark. Also here. Design, transparent state, make it dark. When people hover over it, make it orange, blue. Publish. So now you can still read it. Then when you scroll down, it looks like that. I don't want to have the offset, so I go to the customizer, to the header, headers, global header. I scroll down and I get rid of the offset. And now when I scroll, it sticks on top. So that is how you can work with a header. One more thing, if we take a look at the other devices, it also sticks with us for mobile. It also sticks with us. If you don't want that, then go to the header, headers, global header, scroll down, and then disable it on tablets, other devices, and also the transparent functionality, you can turn it off for smartphones and tablets. I want to turn it on. Okay, so this is what I've shown you. What I prefer is to go to the customizer. I go to the headers, global header, and I do want to use the sticky functionality, but I don't want to use the transparent functionality. So it looks like that. I want to get rid of HTML, socials, keep it simple. And then I will go to Elementor to get rid of the background. Make this one again. Publish. So that's how you can work with the header in the free Blocksy theme. So our header is finished. Right now it looks like this, but you can make it exactly how you want to create it. I even use Elementor Pro, but if I could choose to create a heading or a header with the Blocksy theme or Elementor Pro, I would prefer Blocksy because it's so much easier. I didn't have to say that because Elementor Pro is amazing, but I also like ease of use, and it's amazing that I prefer a free tool, a free theme over a premium plugin when it comes to the heading. So credits to the makers of the Blocksy theme. Now let me show you how we can create a footer. In the same way we created a header, we can also create a footer. If you go to apple.com, page down, here's a footer. A footer shows more information, a few important links, copyright area, some legal pages, and we're going to create something similar. So I go to the customizer. Here's our footer right now. I can go to the footer, and you see again there's a top row, a main row or middle row, and a bottom row with multiple areas. So if I would click on the middle row, I can see right now there are 3 columns. I can also change that to 4. I can also change the way how they are displayed. So a few small columns and a few wider columns. I like to have 4 columns with the same size. And then first I want to go to the lower area, the bottom row, to design. And I want to use the blue color, but then a little bit darker. Like that. Then I go to the copyright area, design, font color. I change it to color 8. I can change the link color to this one if I want to. When people hover over it, I can also change it. So let's say white, and then when I hover over it, it becomes white. I can also do it the other way around. A white link, and when you hover over it, it becomes a color. I want to make the text 16 pixels, and I want to bring this to the center. How can I do that? I go to General, Horizontal Alignment, Center. Then I can go to the text. I don't need to have the copyright text. Get rid of that. I like the copyright icon. And then everything after the current year, I want to remove it. So automatically when there's new year, this will change to 2025. I like to create a pipe, shift, backslash, and then say web define. I could say privacy policy, and if you want to do that, you can do that. I prefer to make a separate menu for those pages. So I just say this and then web define. I can make a link. HTTPS wearewebdefine.com. Enter. So now it's a link, and when I hover over it, it becomes orange. I can change the height by increasing the margin. So if I say 10, I can also decrease it. I'm okay with 0. So that's that. Now I have those 4 areas over here. So I go back, and there are a lot of elements, just like the header, but different elements over here. What I want to do, I want to drag 3 widget areas over here. 1, 2, 3. And then the 4th one, I want it to be socials. Like that. So now you see there's an area over here. If I click on the middle row settings, I can go to design, the background color, make it something like that. Or what is also possible, doesn't matter which colors your website uses, you can use colors on the grayscale. So let's say this one. And then the bottom row design, I can use the same color, then make it a bit darker. Middle row design. So you can also create something like that. Then I go to the middle row design settings because the titles, I want them to be white, even though I don't have titles yet. And the widget font colors also white, all the links white, and when you hover over it, orange. Now I want to go back and go to one of the widget areas. Let me publish it. I click on widget area 1. Now I can add blocks over here. I browse all blocks. So I want to start with my logo. So I can search for image. There you go. Media library. I want to go for the light logo. Select. Then I can click over here. So I can click outside of this area. Click over here. Click on the 3 dots. More settings. And I can say the width should be 250. Otherwise it will become really big on different devices. I don't want that. So that's okay for now. Publish. Let me go back. I click on the plus. I want to add a paragraph and say something about my company. There's a text. I like it. Then I go to widget area 2. And before I do that, I want to create a new menu. So I go back, I scroll down all the way. Menus, I have my main menu. I want to create a new one. And this is all about privacy. You need to have some information on your website. I uncheck everything over here. Next, I want to add a few pages. The first one is the privacy policy. The second one is the cookie policy. The third one is the GDPR, the European laws. I have some information about that for the visitors from Europe, and then the DCMA, which is from California as far as I know. Okay, publish. Then I go back. I can also click over here. Then go to widget area 2. Click on the plus. Search for a menu or a navigation menu. Yes, that one. Over here, the title is privacy. And then I select the menu, privacy. And there you go. The same I want to do with widget area 3. So I go back to menus, create a menu, and I say legal, next, add items, and I create 2 more pages, terms and conditions and terms of use. Publish. Click over here, go to the third area, click on the plus, search for menu, go for the navigation menu, and then I like to say legal, and I select legal. Okay, so far so good. If you want to, click on the plus, you can add all the things you see over here. A verse, footnotes, a gallery, audio, all this stuff. So that's up to you. I like to keep it simple. I click on publish. I go to socials, which is not a widget area, but a widget from the Blocksy theme. And I want to make it look better. So I want to open the links in the new tab. I can go to design. The icons can be white. When people hover over it, they can be orange, like that. I go back to general, and I prefer to show the text next to it, the labels. So I scroll down and I go for label visibility, turn it on for all devices. And then I go to items direction and change it from horizontal to vertical. Now I go back to design. There's a new area, the font colors, which is white. And when you hover over it, I like them to be orange. Okay, and the icons, they can stay white. Like that. Then of course you can take a look at what you want to display over here. Do you want to display Facebook or Twitter or Instagram? Let me publish it. If you go to the social network accounts, since I'm already using this, I want to add it. I also want to add Facebook. And then Twitter. But if I want to add something else, so let's say YouTube, for instance, here's Twitter. Where is YouTube? There's YouTube. So I say HTTPS youtube.com/Ferdy Korpershoek. I publish it. Then I click over here. And now over here, I can add YouTube. Click on the plus and there you go. I can change the icon size, icon spacing, but I'm fine with how it is. I click on publish. I want to adjust a few more things. Let me close this. Okay, it looks okay. I want to make it look better. There's a lot of space over here. In order to fix that, I say right mouse click using Google Chrome, inspect. And what I see over here, this part is part of block 9. So I copy that. It's an ID. Then I want to go to the customizer, and the great thing about the Blocksy theme, even though we're using a free theme, they have additional CSS. Most themes don't have that. Most free themes need to upgrade. So I paste this, I add a hashtag, opening, closing parentheses. And in order to check if this is the right area, I say background hashtag 000. Yes. What I want to say now, margin dash top should be 10 pixels. Now it comes closer already. I can make this 6 until I'm satisfied. So I'm okay with 6. I get rid of the background. And now it's closer to each other and I prefer that. Also here, there's too much space in my opinion. So what I can do, right mouse click, inspect. And what I see, the class is widget menu. So as long as there's a menu in a widget, I can assign a specific style to it. So I paste it, and this time it's not a hashtag, but a point. You don't have to understand this. I'm not a CSS guru, but I know a little bit of information. So I can copy this, paste it here. And then I can say 16. You see a small change. I can say 50. I can say 0, but it's still not close. So what I can do, I can say minus 10, and then it comes closer. Also say minus 14, 13, 15. Okay, I would say minus 14, and then I'm happy with how this looks. What I also like to do, to have more space between the menu items, like here. So what I can say is line dash height. And then I say 20 pixels. Wow, did you see? Okay, let's say 50. Okay, so I know it's working. So now I need to find the right amount. Yes, I think that is working. But you can also go back over here and then adjust the icon spacing until you're like, this is what I want. You can also cancel here. I'm happy with the results. Then I go to the middle row, design, and for the title, I can make it bigger. You can do that if you want to. And what I also want to do for the middle row, design, let's see, row top divider, I want to have a line. You see it over here, full width. I want to change the color to orange and make it a bit bigger as a nice divider. Publish. So I'm happy with this result. How does it look on a different device? It looks like this. That's okay. I prefer to have them below each other. But here it looks weird. It can also be a glitch because if I go to the tablet version and I go over here, edit, general, I see the columns should be stacked on top of each other. That's not the case. So I think it's a glitch. So I click over here and then I click over here again. So you can also have 2 columns if you want to, like this for a tablet, but I'm okay with this. And then I want to go over here And what I would like to do is horizontally bring everything to the center, but there's no option for that. So instead I go to this area, horizontal alignment, center, the second one, center, the third one, center, and the fourth one. Click over here. Center. Okay, this is too wide. What we've done before, if I go back, we already adjusted this area, block 9. So if I go to additional CSS, what I can do, hit enter, and then say max dash width. There it is, enter. And then I can say 600 pixels, and it becomes a bit smaller. So if I would say 400, it becomes even smaller. So I like that. And now if I go to the phone, scroll down. So I'm happy with the results. Let me close it. So this is now the footer, optimized for all devices. We have covered a lot of things already. If I'm not mistaken, we're already around halfway through the tutorial. I don't know if that English is correct, but I'm gonna leave it in anyways. I'm from the Netherlands. English is not my first language. Now we're gonna take a look at more Blocksy configuration settings. So what is next? Let's go to the customizer and go through all the options. So I'll start with the general options. General. First we have layout. Here we can adjust the width of our website. I like 1120. You can also make it smaller. When you do this, you also need to do this with the page builder you use. So if you use Elementor, you need to go to the settings of Elementor and adjust the size there. As I said, I like 1120. By default, it says 1290. I say 1120. Publish. And if you use Elementor, click on Elementor. Go to the site settings, layout, and here also say 1120. Back to general, layout, the content area spacing. Well, if I go to the blog page, I have a few blog posts and I see this space over here. I can increase that here and I can decrease it. Close this. Content edge. So you can increase the viewport with edge. So more space will be left and right on your screen from the content. I never use this, so I turn it off. Narrow container max width. Well, there's an option if you go to one of the blog posts that the space is smaller for a blog post. And then you can say that the container max width should be smaller or wider. Scroll down, wide alignment offset. I never use it, so I leave it as it is. Then I go back. Then we have the buttons. I already created a button over here. So we set the minimum height. We can have a hover effect. So right now there's no hover effect except for the color that changes. But if I turn this on, you get this effect. You can do things here at design. And whenever you create a button in the header or in the footer or using the WordPress editor, it will look like this because that's how we adjusted it over here. I want to get rid of the hover effect, so I turn it off. And then we go to the breadcrumbs. We don't see them over here at our blog post, so I need to go back. Then I go to a single post. I go to the post title, click on the arrow right. And then here I turn it on. Now I go back and I go back. I go to general breadcrumbs, and now I can see what I'm doing over here. So I see home, then the category, and then the title of the blog post. How do I want to display the separator? Like that, or like that. I prefer type 2. Instead of the homepage, we can also show an icon. That's also what I like. Do I want to display the single page / post title? So here's the title and here. Yes, if I turn it off, it will not be shown. Do I want to show the single page or post taxonomy? Something like this. Yes. And do I want to show the blog page in the breadcrumb? Well, I prefer to do so. So I have the homepage, blog, category, blog post. I can go to design. By default, the text, if it's not a link, is this color, which is global color 3. When you hover over it or it's a link, it is orange, and when you hover over it, it becomes blue. You can all adjust it. We can adjust things over here, make it bigger. make it smaller, but I'm okay with all this. So that's how you can configure the breadcrumbs. Then we have the form elements. If you have a form in your website, you can change the look and feel over here, or choose a default layout and then adjust it. So it's a nice starting point. Entry content. So right now I have a blog post over here. Okay, there's a lot of space. I can also make it none. And there's no space at all. We can do it with CSS or compact. And there are different type of links. I have no link in this blog post, but you can play around with those. And then we have the social network accounts. So if you have any social network accounts, I display them here below. Everything you want to display on your website, you can fill in the link over here. Your email, for instance, GitHub, GitLab. Fill in whatever you want to fill in over here. And then you can display that in your header or in your footer. The visitors engagement, if you have Google Analytics, you can place the code over here and then you don't have to install extra plugins in order to make sure that your Google Analytics code is pasted in your website. You can just paste it here. I turn this on and I don't use Open Graph, so I don't need to turn that on. Let me publish it. That's another word for save it. Scroll to top. So if I go to this blog post and I turn this on, I can click over here. I can also click on the arrow right, design, make the icon color orange, or even better, white, but the background, I can make it yellow, orange. When I hover over it, I can make it blue if I want to. I can have a border radius. I can even make it brown, like that. Add a shadow. Website frame. You can have a frame if you somehow are like, I don't want to have a great looking website. Well, then you can add this. You can even increase it. Hey, why not? There must be ugly websites in the world. Otherwise, no, I don't know. Turn it off. That's a commandment. You have to turn it off. Otherwise, you cannot continue. No, just kidding. You can do whatever you want to do, but it's a nice feature. No, it's not. I don't know. You can use it if you want to. And then there are the manage options. Really important, because if you have made a website for a client and you like all the settings, you can go to manage options. You can export all your Blocksy theme customizations. Click over here, customer settings, or also the widget settings, export them. And now, really small file, you can import it on the other website, and then all these settings are the same. How cool is that? Over here, you can go to another website and then import them. That can save you quite some time. You can also reset all the options. So let me do that really boldly. Confirm. Everything is back, but if I go to general, manage options, click or drop to upload a file. I go to downloads, my most recent one, which I just created. I hope it works. Otherwise, I need to do it again. Import the customizations. And okay, small glitch. I go to the blog page, blog post, still all these settings, homepage. Okay, over here, I need to, that's the only glitch. Wow. Delete, publish. So that's how you can export and import settings. So back to general, it was the latest option, manage options. Perfect. Next thing is the header. We already worked with the header, so we can skip that. We already created a footer. Oh, by the way, this is also double. I know what happened. I also included the widgets in my export, but I did not remove them over here. I only reset the settings. So that's the reason why it's a double. Problem solved. Publish. This is not a widget. It's an element from Blocksy, so that's why this is not copied. I love it when I figure out things like this. Okay. Using WordPress, we can make use of a sidebar, and using the Blocksy theme, we can configure that sidebar. So let's create a sidebar and configure it using the Blocksy theme. Then we have the sidebar. A sidebar can be an area here at the right. So if I go to the blog page, I can have a sidebar over here. If I go to one of the blog posts, I can have a sidebar at the right. And if I would have one, how would it look? Well, I can configure this, but then first I would prefer to have a sidebar over here. So in order to create one, I close this, I go to the backend, or I go to widgets. First, I want to get rid of a few things because the main sidebar is the one I want to use. So I click here, click on the 3 dots, and then there's delete. Take a look at this shortcut. That's what I want to use. All the time, click on something, delete it, delete all this stuff. Before, 5 years ago, this was better. They made it worse. I don't know why WordPress did that. But it is what it is. But look at this, how many things I need to do in order to get rid of all the things I don't need. So I want to start with an image. Upload one. I have one in my images tutorial folder, web design, practice, and I have 2 images. This is the first one. I can link it to Elementor, and then the second one, image, upload. This one is Elementor, or was that other one Elementor? Yes. So let me replace it. Hostinger. Okay. Update. Now I go to the website, customize, and then I prefer blog post 1 to have a sidebar over here. So I scroll down, go to the single post, and then I say the post structure general should have a right sidebar. So now we have it. Now I can configure it. So I go back to the sidebar. How should that look? If I scroll down, it stays there. I can make it like this, that there's a background. I like that. What I like even more, in order to showcase that better, I go back to colors all the way down and make the background a bit darker so you see better what's going on. Sidebar. So I have a light sidebar over here, a light background, type 2. Type 1 is like this. Type 3, and there's a small line over here. And then there's type 4, that it's taking the whole right side of my website like that. Well, I prefer type 2. I can change the sidebar width in percentage. I leave it as it is. There can be a gap. So I have more space, but it's not shown. So I don't do anything with the inner spacing. There's the vertical spacing. So the space between the elements. Well, okay. But when I do that, I prefer to have separate widgets. Look at this. This is what I really like. Separate widgets. And now if I increase it, it looks like that. Well, I work a lot with 20 pixels. So I can also do that over here. 20. So in that way, you can make your website pixel perfect. And if your widget has a title tag, H3 is fine. This is the power of Blocksy when it comes to a free theme. I can turn this on, and now when I scroll down, it sticks with us. So maybe this is about Elementor, and people can click here to go to the Elementor page, and that will make it easier. Let me publish it because this glitch is still there. Close it. Blog post 1. Okay, still there. Customize. Go to the sidebar. Inner spacing. Close it. Sidebar gap, that's the thing. The inner spacing over here, I like to make it 0 or as small as possible. Let's see if I can say 0. No, I can't. So there's a small area around it. Okay. Sticky offset, 50 pixels. I like to say 40 or 20, just like here. So this space is the same as this one. Okay. Stick behavior. Do I want to stick the entire sidebar? Well, right now that's possible because we only have 2 elements. But if you have more, then you can say only the latest one or to widgets. So if you have a lot of widgets here above, then you scroll down and then from the latest two, then it starts sticking with you. Amazing options for a free theme. The sidebar visibility. Do I want to display this everywhere? If I turn it on, it can be visible over here. Well, I prefer not. And the mobile sidebar position, if I want to have a sidebar on my mobile, I can have it below the blog post. But it's not visible because I turn it off. So let me turn it on, go to the mobile, and then below the blog post, there are the widgets. You know what? I'm okay with that. So that's the sidebar. I can go to design, and depending on what I have over here, I can configure this. Give it the background, give it the color, shadow, border radius. So I can make it look like this. If I would say 5, well, that's okay with me. No, it's not. 0. Okay. We already talked about global colors and styling your website. Right now, I want to focus on using certain colors in your website and using certain fonts in your website. So what is next? I go back from sidebar to colors. We already talked about colors, you know, the palettes, color palettes. I can adjust them and then everything will have a greenish look, except for the logo. Of course, you need to do that manually. You can even make a dark website. Palette. I want to go back to palette 1, but it's now my colors are gone. So I click on the X. I don't save it. So I maintain my colors. I go to the customizer again. To colors, there's one thing I want to do, this dark gray area. I want to change that to a light one. So this one. So you can see the difference between light or white and this. And later we're gonna change that if we want to. Publish, go back. Now I want to go to typography. I prefer to work with 2 fonts. You can go to fonts.google.com. You can type something. Hey there, this is a nice font. So you can see how it looks, Roboto. You can even filter things. I like to have sans serif. If I see something I like, I can use it. Well, there are a few fonts. I can search for best Google or most popular Google fonts to use. You see a few over here. I use Open Sans a lot. Poppins, Railway. And there's another one I want to use. So what I want to do, I want to use by default Open Sans. So I search for Open Sans. Okay, let me go to a blog page, to a blog post. So I can see how it looks. Now I can click over here. I can increase it, make it bigger. I like 16. Maybe a bit bolder, medium, like that. Click on 3 dots. I can change the line height. This is really high. So I can say 1.7 or 1.8. I like to have some space. I can also have letter spacing, but so I can say 0.3. But how about 0? I can make everything uppercase, but for me it's okay like this. Then we have the headings. So the default heading, you don't see it over here. There's a heading 2. But what I like to do is Nunito Sans. I like that one. I copy this and I paste over here because I want all my headings to be Nunito Sans. So I click over here, paste it, click. I only have to do this once. Paste, click. Paste. And heading 6, I almost never use it. I use H1, H2, and sometimes H3. The buttons, Nunito Sans, everything else, also the quote, pull quote, everything else. I don't want to have the chance of other fonts being in my website, which could not be in line with my branding. And when there's a fallback font, that means if the Google fonts cannot be loaded, then it will fall back to a sans serif font, which is also Nunito Sans. Sans without sans without serif. So for the text, open sans. For the headings, Nunito sans. And then I would like this H2 to change the heading size 32. So I copy it, open sans, the text is okay. So it's twice as big as the font. So also H1, H3, all the same size. Awesome. Publish. Go back. And go to performance. And actually, this is how to make your website faster, and everything is already done. I like to have the dynamic CSS output as a file, not inline. Disable emojis in the script. So if I would say a smiley face, then automatically it can become an emoji. I don't want that. Lazy load images. So it's a faster way to load images. They will be loaded when you scroll down and you see that image. If you're here on the top of the page and here is an image, it will not be loaded until you scroll down and then it decides to load it. That will make your website faster because not everybody that goes to your website will scroll down and see that image. So that is a great way to make your website faster. And then you can decide where a lazy load should be applied. I want to apply it everywhere. Okay, publish. Again, I want to take a look at a few custom CSS possibilities. Let me show you. If you scroll down all the way, there is additional CSS. We have already used it. What I see over here with the heading and with the paragraph is there's a lot of space. So what I can do, P or .p, opening, closing, background, hashtag 333. There doesn't have to be a P. Okay. Now I see I have the right area selected. So I want to bring it closer. So what I will say, margin dash top. If I would say 30 pixels, it will go down. If I say 0, nothing happens. If I say minus 10, minus 20, minus 30, it comes closer. I don't want it to be too close, so let me get rid of the background. I think it can be a little bit closer. Yes. It needs to be really important that this is readable. Of course, the text is in Old Latin, I think, but so you cannot read this literally. But it needs to be an enjoyable thing to read. This is not like frustrating for your eyes. So maybe I can go back. I can go to typography, the base font, and over here say 2. Yes. Now we've had a bit more space over here. So that's how you deal with typography and with performance. If I close this and this, and I go to the blog page and the blog post, I think it's a nice read. Maybe we can make this smaller, but we'll do that later in the configurations. I'm happy, except for 2 things. I think this is too close to each other. So I go to the customizer. I can go to the sidebar. And then over here, I say make it 40. And the inner spacing, I think it should be a bit more. Let's see if 20 is okay. Or 10. 10 is okay. 20. This is 40. This is 20. We're getting at an interesting part of this tutorial. If you're writing blog posts or you have blog posts on your website, using the Blocksy theme, we can create amazing layouts. We can have animations. We can display everything exactly as we want it, unless you have a real bizarre idea in mind for your website. But if I think about something I want to create in the Blocksy archive page or the Blocksy blog post, single blog post, I can do it using the Blocksy theme, and I will show you how you can do the same. I go to the blog post. So there's post types, blog posts. I want to go to the blog page because there we can configure how this will look. And if I want to, if I go to the blog page, I can have a blog title by turning this on. Blog, and I can configure it. I can make it look like this. Then I can go to design can go to the container background. I can make it a certain color. I can go to a gradient. I can even use an image, but I'm okay with how it is. I go back to general to type 1. I can have a title, an excerpt. I can have breadcrumbs. No excerpt. Bring it to the center. You know what? I don't need to have a breadcrumb for the blog page. So I think that's nice to have something like this. Can increase the spacing. I like it to be the same as on the top. So I think 50 is okay. Go back. Then there is the structure. Right now I see a few blog posts next to each other, 3 in a row. I can also say simple, it looks like this, or classic with big images. This is the one we had a minute ago. I can also have an enhanced grid. So here it will show 2 in a row, here 3, or something like this. And then I can use Gutenberg to create a nice layout. Well, I prefer the grid. How many posts do I want to show? I like 3, and the total amount, well, let's say 3. So it will show a total of 3 blog posts, because then I can show you the pagination. I scroll down a bit. I go to pagination. Click over here. I can change a few ways. I can also click on load more. That's what I like, but if you have 100 blog posts, it's better to have standard, or you can do infinite scroll so people can keep on scrolling, and while you scroll, more will be loaded. I prefer the standard one. It looks like this. It's visible on a desktop and a tablet, not on a smartphone. So if I go to the smartphone, I can click on next. Yes. I can go to design, change the background if I want to. I think I prefer that one. Okay, I go back. Then we have the sidebar. I can turn it on. There it is. But now 3 in a row is quite a lot. So I bring this to 2. I don't like it in combination with this area. So for the homepage, the blog page, I say no sidebar, 3 columns. So when people go to my blog page, they see the most recent blog posts. Then there's a card review effect, really nice, like this. Then I scroll up because there are a few more functions we did not cover. For instance, the card options, you can do a lot over here. So right now it looks like this, but we can change so many things over here. I can bring it to simple. So it's the same as the background. No white area. Or you have cover. All the information is visible like that. Well, I prefer to have boxed. And then I can decide what I want to show. If you want to, you can go to a competitor or a website that's really popular. So if you search on anything and you go to one of the top search results, you can see how they display their blog posts and then do something similar, because they're probably doing something right since they're found so good in the Google search results. So I prefer to have the featured image on top, and it should reload at once. If it does not happen, close it. Go to the blog page. Okay, it did not work. So I click on the customizer, scroll down, blog post, card options, featured image, publish. Okay, after that, I would like to have the title, then the post meta information. And you see all those arrows. If you click on that, you can configure it. So right now it's probably 4:3. I can also change it to 16:9. I can also change it so it will be long images like that. No, thank you. The image size, I think medium is okay, because the image is not that big. So I think it will be a waste of space if you would say full resolution. So it's a full resolution image, shrunk, but then made smaller, but it's still loading the whole image. Well, that will make your website slower. So I go for medium, as long as it still looks sharp. So if I would go for thumbnail, you see the image looks bad. So I go for medium. Do I want to have a hover effect? Yes. So I say zoom in. I like that. Boundless image, if I turn it off, then there will be a bound around it. A border, I don't want it. And link the image to the post, definitely. So I have options for all those elements. A heading, H2, link to the post, yes. Post meta, what do I want to display over here? Category, subcategory, I can have the publish date, yes. The amount of comments, if there are no comments, it will not be shown. And then here below, there's the divider. Right now I see a /. I prefer a point. The excerpt, small text. How many words? I can say less words, or I can show the full post, but why should you do that? It's really weird. So I can say 100. Why? Because I can decide per excerpt how long it is. So it will never be cut off. If you do that, then there's a chance that one excerpt is longer than the other one. But what you will see, it doesn't matter because they will all line up perfectly. So that's what I really like. You can have a read more button, but I prefer not to have one. What I do want to have is to have a nice button style for this. So I go back to the post meta, then I can have an icon. So right now it says February 5th, 2023. You can have an icon like that. I prefer that. Excerpt, post meta, the post meta below from 30 is the date. Now I see the date twice, so I can decide what I want to show over here and what I want to show over here. Well, if all my blog posts are from me, why would I show myself as an author? So I can also go to the post meta over here. There's no author over here. That's great. But I also don't want to show the date because it's displayed over here. So I can turn that off. Then I have the post meta taxonomies. I can also do arrow down. Look at this. The style, I can make it a button. That's what I really like. So I think this looks amazing. What I also can do, I can bring some curves into the edges, to the border radius. So there's a card gap of 30. Let's make that 40. Inner spacing, I'm okay with that. We can align everything to the center. No, thank you. If I go to design, I can change the block title, text, the colors, all that stuff. I can make it smaller if I want to. I'm okay with it. What I do want to do is increase this. If I say 25, how it will look? Well, that's a lot. So let's say 5. I think that's really nice. So let's bring this back to 9. We have only 5 blog posts. So it will be displayed like that on the blog page. So then I go back, and then there's also the single post. So let me go to one of the blog posts. How do I want to display this? When I scroll, there's an offset of 20. Let me bring that back. So I go back to the sidebar. Sticky offset, make it 40. Yes. Then I go back to blog post and then single post. So I can make it narrow without a sidebar, but I chose to have a sidebar. I like to make it boxed, and this is what I really like. This looks beautiful in my opinion. I love it. I can have no space over here, but I like the space on the top and at the bottom. I can change the value of that. So right now it's 60. Here's 40. So I can click over here. I can make it 40. So now it's 40, 40, 40. Because my name is 30. I thought, hey, let's do 40. If my name was Gerald, I would have no clue what the size should be over here. Gerald sounds like 90. I don't know. What do you think? Have you ever thought about the number that sounds like your name? If your name is Arpakseth, 322. Okay. Yeah. Whatever. Let's continue. Go to the single posts. What do I want to display over here? Well, no featured image, because it's taking all the space. I want people to start reading. You can do it, and you can also decide to bring that a bit lower by clicking on the arrow and then say it should be shown below all this information. So that can be a possibility. I prefer that, but what I prefer even more is this, no image. The post tag. So a post can have tags. Where do you want to display that? Well, by default, it's at the bottom. Then there is the share box, so people can share this. Where should it be shared? It can be shown at the bottom, but also at the top, like that. I prefer the bottom. And then I can decide which social media networks I want to use. So people can share it on Reddit, through email. See, it increases like that. I can change the icon. I can decide not to display this on a phone. Then there's the author box. Always like to use that one. If you want to fill in some information over here, well, let me publish it. I can click over here. I can display it in two ways. Also like this or like this. Show the post count, author archive link. So if you click over here, you see all the blog posts that this author has. Social icons. So if I have it, let me show you how to add them, and they should be opened in a new tab. Okay, let me show you how you can adjust this information. Close this, go over here, edit profile, and then over here, I can say Facebook, hashtag, Twitter, LinkedIn, WordPress, YouTube, and then over here I can have a text. Okay, update. And now, when we go to the blog page, to blog post 1, and I scroll down, there's some text about me, and I can go to all these social media icons. But wait, there's more. Click on the customizer. We go to the single post configurations here below. Where was I? Post navigation. So go to the next post. This is the latest one, so there's no earlier post. I can configure that. What should I display over here? How big should it be? How much space should there be? The size, medium, large. Again, I would like to say medium. The visibility. And then there's design for this. I'm totally fine with that. And then there below is related posts. And then there below is comments, but I prefer to have the comments here below. So what I can say, module placement contained. So it's contained in this white area. You can also have it above the list. Okay, let me show you. If I go to We Are Web Design in an incognito window, and I go to the blog page, and I go to blog post 1, and I press page down, I scroll up a bit, I see name, email, website. But if I would say above list, then first there's the comment area, and then below I can leave my name and all that stuff. What I see is that with CSS something went wrong. You see also over here. How can I fix that? I go back, and I go to typography. Okay, I go back and I go to custom CSS. I think that's where it went wrong. Yeah, of the P. So if I would get rid of this, then everything looks normal. So what I need to do, I need to know how this area is called. Inspect. Article ID. Okay, this area has a main ID. Let me see. So if I go to this area, all main. Okay, so what I can do, copy this. Not sure if it works. Hashtag main space. So here it looks normal again. And here it doesn't. Or here it also is how I want it to be. So if I get rid of this, I now know that only everything within this main area is affected, but also this area. I don't want that. So what I can do, let me publish it. I'm not a CSS guru. Right mouse click, inspect. So maybe I should only say for the entry content, there should this be. So I wonder if I say right mouse click, if this also is entry content. I think not. Logged in as. Okay, so what I think I can do, paste it here, point. So here it's activated, but here below it should look normal. Yes, and also here it's yes. So that's how you can play around with CSS. If you don't understand this, no problem. You can just copy this and paste it or type the same thing and everything should be fine. Let's go back to the single post. We cover everything. We're at comments, design, the font color, the hover color. It's all fine. Related post. I can show more. I'm okay. Publish. So that is how we configured the single page and the block page. So now let's go to the archive page. So if I go to category 1, that's an archive page. And by default, now it looks like this. If I go to the customizer, I scroll down and I go to categories. If I would say simple, then it would look like this. I say grid, I want it to look the same. So I say 3 columns, 9 posts. And then actually I want to have the same options as I had before. So I go for the featured image on top. Title. Here I only showed the date. Then here I showed taxonomies and comments if they were there. Then over here I also said I want to show here at taxonomies, I show them as buttons. And then something with the border radius 5, I think. So actually almost all the same options as over here. Sidebar. No, thank you. So publish. What I can do, page title, have a breadcrumb, close it. So we configured the blog page, the single blog page, and the archive page. What I can do, latest thing, go to the customizer, over here, edit, and then the post meta, again, taxonomies, and change it to buttons. And then here, let me see, points. Publish, close. So that is how we made and configured our blog post. One more thing, I don't like this, so I bring it back. That's how I roll. Just think that things are great, and then I think, no, it's not. You can also, by the way, change the order. So the author, I don't have to show that. Yes, perfect. And the breadcrumb can be below the title. Publish. Great. So that's how you can configure the blog pages. I prefer to use the Elementor page builder. You can also use the WordPress editor, also known as Gutenberg. And when you do that, you can configure the default style for every page you create using Gutenberg. So let me how you can do that. Now, if I go to the home page, it is made with Elementor. If I go to the services page, it's not made with Elementor. It's made with the WordPress editor. So if I click on edit page, I can fill this with content using the WordPress editor. So if I would search for dummy text generator, I click on it. I want to have a text with a few paragraphs. I copy it and I paste it, update, and click over here. I can see how it looks. Now, if I go to the customizer, I can adjust the look and feel of this page. I do normally not use the WordPress editor. I use Elementor. But if you use the WordPress editor, you can click on pages and change the look and feel of all your pages. You can have a page title. You can do the same things we already discussed. So you can have a post meta, breadcrumb, make it look different. If you want to, you can have a sidebar. You can have your content boxed. I prefer to let Elementor do all this stuff. And when I have a normal page like services or about or contact, I never use a sidebar. I also don't use this as a white block. I prefer to have it like this. Not even the box. So I say wide. But now it doesn't look that nice because we can configure this using our favorite editors. In my case, Elementor and not the WordPress editor. So all these settings over here, for me, they're not really necessary to configure. If you use the WordPress editor, then you can play around with this. But then still, I will not use a featured image, a share box, comments. I would never use that for a page. So it's up to you how you want to address this. I prefer to let the WordPress editor do all this stuff. And in my case, Elementor. So we go back. Then there's the author page. If I would go to a blog page, to one of the blog posts, and I scroll down all the way, I see that the author is 30. Okay. Now it looks like this. And again, we can configure it like this. Well, I showed you before how you can do this. So I'll be back with you when I've done it. 1, 2, 3. So this is how it looks now. I can adjust things here by clicking here. Name and avatar, text, articles. If I go to the author meta, I can also say when I joined, the amount of comments I have totally. But I'm okay with this. Then we can go to the search page over here. For that, I publish everything, close it, the icon, and I search for blog post. And the great thing is automatically already it shows a few results. If I click on search, I'm now officially at the search results page. So I go to the customizer because I can configure this. And then I need to do the same thing. Scroll down, search page, page title. I can change that like that. Also go to design, bring this back to 0. It should decrease this area. And then I can go to the card options and do the same things which I already have done a few times. So I will fast forward again. So design, border radius 5. And that's the way the cookie crumbles. Now, if I go back and I go back, this is the core. So this is not Blocksy related, but WordPress related. Only this one is Blocksy related, CSS. Now I will install WooCommerce and add a few products so I can show you how you can configure those pages. Since I want to include everything in this tutorial about the free version of the Blocksy theme, I'm also using WooCommerce. WooCommerce is the best tool, in my opinion, for WordPress to create a web shop. So I imported a few products and I'll show you how you can configure your WooCommerce website using the Blocksy configuration settings. So I've installed WooCommerce. If you want to learn how to use WooCommerce, you can go to YouTube and search for WooCommerce tutorial. I hope mine will be up first. So far it is. Great. And then you can learn how to create a web shop. I already added so you can see what is possible with WooCommerce and the free Blocksy theme. I go to the customizer I scroll down all the way. I go to the menus, main menu, the one you see over here. And then I want to add one more item, and that is the shop. There you go. Publish, close it. I also imported some products. So here is my shop. This is by default how it looks. If I click on PlayStation, you see how it looks like this. And now we can configure this. So I go to the shop page, then I go to the customizer. And since I installed WooCommerce, I have WooCommerce over here. I will not go through all the details, through all the configurations. Why? Because a lot of these configurations are from WooCommerce and not from the Blocksy theme. So let me start with, at the beginning, I go to the product archives. This page title, no thank you. Okay, so I see a darker background and then my products are highlighted. So if I would have a title, by the way, we talked about this before, you can set up like this. We can show the breadcrumbs, align it, have a different background, different style. You know how that works. I turn it off. There are two ways to show my products, type 1 and type 2. I prefer type 2. And if you prefer type 1, you can choose that one. How many columns do we want to display? How many products in a row? If I would say 3, it become quite big. Maybe I want to have a sidebar at the right. In that case, I would say 3. I want to go for 4 now without a sidebar. A total of 16 products, as you see, 1, 2, 3, 4 times 4, 16. And then I can go to the second page. So I can also decrease this and then I will see only 12 products. Then there are the cart options. This is amazing. There's the image over here. And of course, if I click over here, I can change how it looks. I prefer the square one, but hey, it's up to you how you want to display this. You can also have a custom size or the original, but then they all change. The aspect ratio here is different than here. So that looks a little bit weird in my opinion. So I prefer 1 by 1. You can also have 16 by 9 and then turn it around like that. This one. Hover effect, yes. I can swap images with a second image if I have one. Not all the images have that. So over here, that's the case. So if you have a hoodie, that can be really nice. You can also zoom in. This is what I like. The bottom spacing, I can increase it or decrease it or bring it back. So again, with that arrow down, you can adjust a lot of things. Then there's the star rating. I don't like this color, so I go back. I go back and then I go to WooCommerce General Star Rating. The second color is the color of the real stars. So everything here is 5 stars. But I also can decide to use the color of my website. And then the first one, can make it blue or prefer white. Okay, I go back to the product archive. That's where we are. Cart options, star rating. Okay. Categories, do I want to show them? Right now I see coaching, ebooks, all that stuff. I do want to show them. The style can be a button, just like my blog post, but I think it's not necessary. So I say default. And there's an excerpt for a product if you want to. I personally don't use that. And then there's the add to cart and the price. The column gap, it's 30 pixels. I can make it 40. So there's more space between all these areas. And here it's 30 in the rows. And I want to increase it to 40 to maintain the same distance between everything, because that's also what I have with my blog page. Then there's design, title, font. I can change it. I can change the colors, the hover color. So right now when I hover over it, looks like that, but I can also say I want this color to be whatever color I want it to be. Wow. No. The price, I can make it green. That's sometimes the case, or depends on the style of your website. I prefer to have the normal price over here. So you can play around with those settings. There's a shadow, which makes it look better in my opinion. So it's all up to you. The border radius, I like to make it 5 because that's what I have with the blog posts. So those were the cart options. Then the spacing here, I like it the way it is. The results count. Do I want to show how many products there are? If I turn it off, that's gone. If I turn off the other one, sorting, look at this, then the whole area will disappear and automatically it will go up. So I prefer to show them both. Do I want to have a sidebar? Well, if I do, I would like to go for 3 columns. And then real quick, if I go to widgets, let me see, publish, and close it real quick, widgets, then there's the main sidebar, there's the WooCommerce sidebar. I can click on the plus, browse all, and then there are a few WooCommerce related widgets. So let's go for the search and let's go for the cart. Hide if the cart is empty. Okay, one more. Go again to WooCommerce. WooCommerce. I can also search, filter by price. Bring it up. Update. So now, ladies and gentlemen, at our shop page, we have this over here. So I can filter this, and when I release it, all the products below $500 euros are gone. How cool is that? I think it's pretty cool. I go to the customizer again. Then I go back to product archives. So I said I want to have a sidebar at the right side. Pagination. When there are more products, it looks like that. Then there's the product catalog. What do I want to display over here? Only products or categories? Well, I prefer only to show products. This is a setting from WooCommerce itself, so it's not Blocksy related. And you can have default product sorting. So it's now custom order, but I can also say most recent or average rating. So the highest rated product is here. And then here, the product with the lowest rating or with no rating at all will be displayed there. I use the default sorting. Okay, so that's product archives. Then we have a product. So let me go for a t-shirt. It looks like this. How can we make this look better? Well, I go to the single product area. The title, if I turn it off, this will be gone. I like it. That's enough for me. What I like to do, I like to make it smaller because right now, of course, if I close this and I go to the t-shirt, I can also search over here, t-shirt, and the product will appear. Yeah, it's quite big in my opinion. All this stuff, I need to scroll in order to see more information. So I go to the customizer. What I prefer to do at the single product, I like to make it smaller, narrow, like that, and even boxed. Oh man, I love this. This at once I see so much more. I can also click over here. I see so much more information at once. This is a long description, I have to say that. So that still makes us scroll down. So let me get rid of that for the sake of the tutorial. Okay. There we are. Now we see everything at once. Design, page background. Well, I'm okay with the current one. The content area background. So I can also make this dark and then all the other things light, but I'm okay with this white. I can have a shadow, increase it a bit so I can see where that's happening. I can have a border if I want to. I can have a nice edge. So the bigger it is, the bigger the edge. Well, I like 5. And the spacing everywhere is 40. The product gallery, how do I want to display this? So these are options from the Blocksy theme, which are really nice. I can have a light box. That means if I click on the product, it opens in a light box and I can navigate through it. The zoom effect, when I hover over it, I see the zoom effect at once. Well, if I turn it off, it doesn't happen. The gallery can be sticky. So if I scroll down, look at this. Gallery sticks with us. I like that. And the width is divided 50-50. If I would make it smaller, then there's more space for the information and less for the image. So I can also do it the other way around, but I like 50-50. The image, how should it be displayed? I like 3x4. You can also say original or 16x9, 1x1. I like the way it is. The thumbnail position, right now it's horizontal here below. I can also make it vertical. If I close it, that looks weird. So that's a glitch. Customize. So I guess it is better if we take a look at the single product page to have a gallery that is horizontal. The spacing between the thumbnails, you can adjust that. So what else? There's the product elements, all this stuff. What do I want to display over here and how should it look? Well, the title, I can decrease spacing, the star rating. Well, if there's none, it will not be shown. The short description, the divider, I don't want that. Add to cart button, and then I click over here and I can see how it will look. More meta information like this. I'm okay with that. I can show some payment methods like these. If you support those, you can show them over here or turn them off or on. You can even add more. So if people can pay with PayPal, click on the plus. So I can change them. I can change the icon size. I can change the colors. So make them custom, all the same color. And additional information like this stuff. And I can decide it over here, but that will be shown for every single product. So really do this only if it's applied to all the products. Sticky container, that means if the image is higher and here is some space left and you scroll down and this will stick with you, but that's almost never the case. So I turn it off. Here at design, we can say for the product, I can have a different color. For the price, I can have a different color. That's totally up to you, but that's what you can do over here at design. Then there's the product tabs here below, description, additional information and reviews. You can show that in different ways. For instance, like this, or all below each other. And you can open it and close like that, or everything is displayed. That is what I prefer. The module placement, default, it looks like this. You can also make a summary. So all that information will be here at the right. Well, I prefer default. And then the spacing between everything, I want it to be 40. And here at design, we can change some colors. Then there's the related and upsell. We don't have that, but if you turn it on, related products will be shown. They will be shown over here. And the upsells also, and you can configure that over here. How many do you want to show? So if I say 3, they will be bigger, and then 3 in a row can be shown. Then there are functionality options. Add to cart. Right now I can say 3 for add to the cart. If I turn on Ajax add to cart, then I get a pop-up like, hey, right now, okay, let's say if I add it to the cart, let me publish it, close it. And I add this one to the cart. It says t-shirt has been added to your cart. View the cart. Then I can go to the cart page. But what I also can do, customize, scroll down, single product, Ajax add to cart, publish, close. And now if I add it to the cart, it looks different. I will see it over here. View the cart or add more to the cart. Yes, okay. 2 more things I want to show you over here. Customizer. I can go to the header. And since we added WooCommerce, I can have a cart area over here. I can configure that. So I can show you something else over here. Play around with those settings. Right now I see the total number, the total amount I already have in my cart. If I don't want to display that, I scroll up. You can also do things here at design. Change how everything looks. Publish. When I close it, look at this. When I hover over it, it looks like that. Isn't that cool? Well, I like it, but I want to change the look and feel. So I go to the customizer. Then I click over here on the 3 dots, design, default state. The font color is that's okay. But the drawer, I want that to be different. So the background should be color 7, and then the text can be dark. You know what? I'll make it completely white. Great. You can also bring it up over here. Then of course I should change the colors to white. This one also to white. And when I hover over it, to orange. Better. I go back to the single product shop. Go to this Nike hoodie. So this is how we configured it. I like it. Then there's the cart page. So if I go to the cart page, now I can go back to general cart page. Okay, there's no settings over here because I can do that over here at the pages. And then I can say boxed. Okay. Then I want to go to the checkout page. Let me go to CSS and bring this back to 10. Publish. You know what? Let's say 0. Okay. What I can do now, I can go to WooCommerce General, the checkout page. If I have a coupon code, I can turn that form on. Highlight the required fields. And clean up this address. This form, if I don't need things, no phone, for instance, no phone number, I can get rid of it and then it will be easier for people to fill that in. This is all WooCommerce related. So that is how you can play around with your web shop using the Blocksy theme. And I think it looks great this way. People can navigate, add things to the cart, view the cart, go to the checkout, fill in their information, and then they can pay. If you want to learn more on how to create a web shop, you can watch the tutorial, which I already showed. So that's what you can do with the Blocksy theme and WooCommerce. When you have the Blocksy theme, there are also a few extra features you have, and I will show you where they are and how you can activate them. A really great feature in the Blocksy theme is here at the back end. Let's go to Blocksy and extensions, and at the free version, we can have a cookie consent. We can customize it. So when people enter our website for the first time, they need to confirm that we use some cookies, and that's mandatory. So we can configure that over here. If you want to see how it looks, you can close it. I already probably clicked on it, so I don't see it anymore. What I can do, I can do a right mouse click, open the link in an incognito window, and then you see it. We use cookies to ensure we give you the best experience. Accept. And that's how that works. So one more thing. If I go to Elementor, I click on this folder. I click on the upload icon. I select a file. Then I go to the images tutorial file, which you could download from my website. You go to WebDivine, Practice, Homepage Elementor, and you open it. Import without enabling. Then the homepage, click on Insert. Don't apply the settings. Then you go to the settings over here. Go to Layout. And at the container padding, uncheck this and say top 60, right? Nothing. Bottom 60. Then we go to the tablet. We say 45 everywhere. Then we go to the mobile and we say 30 everywhere. Save the changes. Close it. Now we have this website with those colors. And the great thing is, if I click over here, go to the style, I use global colors from the Blocksy theme. So in Elementor, I can use the theme colors of Blocksy. So here, theme palette color 1 until 8. And when I do that, and I think, or my client thinks, hey, I want to change the colors. I don't have to do that everywhere in Elementor manually. I just go to the customizer, to colors. And since all those colors in Elementor and in the Blocksy theme are linked to my global color palette, if I make this color darker, it will be darker everywhere. Same goes for this color, except for the logo. If I make this red, it becomes red everywhere where I selected this color. And then of course I need to adjust this logo to that color. And I should also do that over here. So that is how you can change the look and feel with just a few clicks. I close this, I don't want to save it. So that is what you can do with the Blocksy theme. We are creating an amazing website, but you can also import pre-made websites made with the Blocksy theme that are optimized for all devices and that are lightweight. So what you can do, you can import that website, you can choose one, and then you can adjust it and save a lot of time. So let me show you how you can import a pre-made demo website. So I have a brand new Blocksy installation. In order to install a pre-made website, I go to the backend. I already installed Blocksy. I click on it. Then I go to the starter sites. And there are free starter sites and pro starter sites. Look at this. They look amazing. And a lot of them are capable with Elementor and Gutenberg, the WordPress editor. So if you have a yoga studio, you can import this one. If you sell furniture, you can import this one. And man, they're adding them all the time. So that's really nice. I can select them based on the free plans. And I can say I want to use Elementor or Gutenberg or the Busy Builder. Let's do Gutenberg. And I can have a category if I want to. But right now I can already choose one of these. So this one looks great. It's a shop. Now we use the WordPress editor. So I click on import. I can also click on preview. So click over there and then see how it will look. Look at this. I love it. It looks really clean and professional. And then it's a matter of adjusting the information. Wow. Page up. Command W. I click on import. I don't need the child theme. I never use child themes. And I use the Gutenberg WordPress editor. So I click on next. I need to install a few plugins, Stackable, WP Forms and WooCommerce, and a few widget areas and options. I click on install. That's it. Now I have to sit back and drink, take a sip of tea. The website is ready. So I click on view site. And look at this. This is our website. I love it. So now it's a matter of changing the information. So of course it's up to you. I don't want to have the homepage over here, so I can go to the customizer. Click over here. Oh, no. Go back, scroll down, go to menus, the main menu, and then I get rid of the homepage. Then I can click on the main row. Design, I can make it dark, but it's not necessary because it's transparent. But I want to make it sticky, so I go back, go to headers, global headers. And there I can make it sticky. Now it sticks with us. And then I need to have a different logo. Right now I have the dark one. But for the sticky, I want to have the dark one too. I also think it's quite high. So I bring this a bit down. Let's say 80. Publish, close it. So now it's a little bit less high. And if you want to change the colors that are used in the website, right now this seems to be the main color, just like here. I need to configure this. Oh, those are from another installation. So if I click over here, add to cart, now it looks great. So let me go to the customizer. I go to colors. I want to make this one orange. The second one is okay already. publish. Now if I go to the homepage and scroll down, I hover over here, that looks like this, but if I hover over here, it looks like that. Not all the images are there. It's true, in my last installation, I did not remove all the products, but I did remove the images. So if I go to products, I see a lot of products that are from another installation. But that's how you can work fast. Change the image if you want to. Change the text. And it's made with the WordPress editor. So it doesn't look like Elementor, but it looks like this. And that shows the power of the WordPress editor. It's getting there. It's getting better and better. It's already 6, maybe 7 years old, the WordPress editor. And it's finally getting somewhere, in my opinion. So if I want to change this, Meta Quest 3, update, view the page, and now it's the Meta Quest 3. That's the way the cookie crumbles when it comes to starter websites. So I hope you like what you're seeing so far. We're at the end of the tutorial. If you like this video, please like it. I want to show you now. What I want to show you now is what you can do with the Pro version of Blocksy. There are amazing features in the free version. I think for most people it's enough. But if you want to take it to the next level, let me show you what is possible with Blocksy Pro. And after that, I will refer you to the upcoming Blocksy Pro tutorial. I yet have to make it, but I know if I publish this video, and I say that right now, and right now you're watching this, I know I need to make sure that I upload that part really soon. So you can click over here or in the description. But right now, let me show you what you can do using Blocksy Pro. I'll show you how to create a header using the Blocksy Pro theme. It can have a main row, but also a top row and a bottom row. We can make any part sticky, the main row, the main and the top row. And we can change the logo and colors when we scroll. We can also give our header some offset and change the style of our header. We will optimize our header for all devices, for tablets and for smartphones. And you can also create specific headers for specific pages in your website. I'll show you how to create an advanced menu like this. And we can add icons, badges, and content blocks that are created within a page builder. Then we will configure our blog post pages and add a sidebar. We can add widgets and assign specific sidebars to specific pages and categories. You will learn how to make your blog archive page look better. And when you have a web shop, I will show you how you can increase your sales with all the extra WooCommerce features that come with the Blocksy Pro theme. We will create an amazing footer, and also here we can assign specific footers to specific pages. We will talk about uploading custom fonts and fonts from your Adobe Typekit subscription. With the Blocksy Pro theme, we can use code snippets for any page in the website, and I will dive deeper into content blocks, also known as hooks, that enable us to place content on any place in the website. The great thing is that we can show or hide the content based on some settings, like when people visit the website and if they are logged in or not logged in. With the Blocksy Pro theme, you will enable white labeling so your clients do not see the theme you use. And we will import starter templates so you have complete websites up and running in just a few clicks that can be adjusted to your wishes. I will also show you how to create a shortcut bar so you have one or more call to actions on your website and in that way boost your conversions. The Blocksy Pro theme comes with premium support and the theme makers are always open to hear from you how they can make their theme even better. And that brings this tutorial to an end. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making this tutorial. If I wish I could duplicate myself, make even more tutorials. But then if it's not me, but the duplication of me, do I still enjoy it that he's making the tutorial? I say I enjoy the tutorial, so I should actually not be duplicated. If I think about duplicating myself to create more tutorials, then it's not about the process I like. It's about getting more views and more subscribers and make more money. So what I'm saying that I enjoy this and that I want to duplicate myself is not right. Sometimes I like to think out loud at the end of my video. And that's what I'm doing right now. So I don't want to duplicate myself. I want to be happy with me, who I am as a person. I'm 30. I am unique. There's nobody else like me. Wow. There's also nobody else like you. You're also unique. You're amazing. You can do amazing things in life. You can be a blessing to other people with what you do. Maybe it's by making a website. Maybe you're going to make a website for someone that's a startup business. And through the website, they can get clients and they can do things for a living, provide for their family because of you, because you were helping with the website. And I was helping you to learn how to make websites. So that's the end of this tutorial. Have a great day And I wish you the best in everything you do. Amen. Ciao.